And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in this afternoon for Judy Simpson. When was the last time you changed or checked the batteries in your smoke detector at home? Was it last week? Maybe it was last month or even last year. Well, if you're like many people, you may not even remember, because smoke alarms have become such a common feature in our homes that they're often taken for granted, and they're not tested and maintained as they should. Well, working smoke alarms are a critical fire safety tool that can mean the difference between life and death in a home fire, and that's the message behind this year's Fire Prevention Week campaign. Working smoke alarms save lives. Test yours every month. So today we're going to discuss fire prevention in the home and on the farm. And joining me are George Cook, who's a longtime volunteer firefighter and a farm safety specialist with UVM Extension. And also with us is Michael DeRocher, is the director of Vermont's Division of Fire Safety. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you both for being here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of what we're going to talk about today, George specifically, is some common sense, but this, I can't stress enough, this is a matter of life and death. These are issues you see as a firefighter and as a safety specialist with Extension all the time.
All the time, and we all know these things that we're going to say, but we all need reminding too, and this is a great time of year to do it.
We're going to talk about that. This is a critical time of year,
Absolutely.
Especially in Vermont. We're going to find out that over half our fires occur in these cold winter months that are coming up.
That's right.
All right. So what is National Fire Prevention Week? Why do we recognize this, George?
In commemoration of the Great Chicago Fire in 1871, when so many lives were lost, property was lost. Later on the 40th anniversary, actually, the President of the United States said, let's do something that will help people remember this and learn from it. So during the week of that always has October 9th in it, the anniversary date, there are educational activities going on all across the country by fire departments, volunteers, to help teach people and remind people about fire safety.
And if folks think they've heard of this before, it's because they have. It's the longest running public health and safety observation week we have in the country.
Yes, it is.
Michael DeRocher, jump in here. Tell us a little bit about what the Vermont's Division of Fire Safety, what they do surrounding this week.
Sure, thank you. The Vermont Division of Fire Safety, with our limited resources, are forced to network with the Vermont Fire Service. We typically deliver our fire safety trailers to hundreds of fire safety events during the summer months. During Fire Prevention Week specifically, we encourage all Vermonters to contact their municipal fire departments. There's many safety programs that are being delivered throughout the state. We have a lot of open houses at the fire departments. A lot of the local fire departments are into the schools. And the Division of Fire Safety does sponsor an annual fire safety calendar poster contest. And all third grade students across the state during Fire Prevention Week are invited to participate in this contest. 12 calendars are selected in November, and we actually distribute close to 20,000 fire safety calendars as a result of this. So again, we encourage all Vermonters to speak with the local fire department. There are safety programs being delivered all over the state.
And I have to jump in and say I think it's great you involve the young kids. Those are where safety plans come. I remember my own kids coming home from school and asking the question, do we have an exit plan? So involving the young kids is great. I did say at the beginning, we're going to get stuck on the obvious, but George, remind us, why is a working smoke alarm, smoke detector so important?
Smoke alarms buy us time. And in a fire, time is critical. The vast majority of the fires actually occur between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. when we're asleep. And if we didn't have smoke alarms, then we'd be hard pressed to wake up.
Smoke itself doesn't necessarily wake us up.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
So we need these noises.
Absolutely. Noises, and for some individuals that have other handicaps or disabilities, there are specially made ones that in the daytime will flash as a strobe light, so that it helps for everyone.
So the importance of a working smoke detector and alarm that you can test regularly, and as we saw in one of the pictures, testing the batteries.
Testing the batteries, so you should push that test alarm once a month.
Mike, a couple of other key points to make about smoke detectors?
We have smoke alarm technology has really advanced over the past 10 years, but it's important to recognize the fact that the state of Vermont does require photoelectric smoke alarms, not the ionization type. The other important message is we encourage smoke alarms to be installed in all sleeping rooms on each floor level, including the basement. And we also encourage people to interconnect the smoke alarm, so if you do have a fire that is initiated in the basement, it alerts you upstairs. Most residential home fires today, you have less than 3 minutes typically from the time the alarm sounds for your family to get out of the building.
That's the point George was making about time. It buys you time.
Critical time.
Yep.
If you're, and the other important issue is a lot of times when our inspectors go out and test smoke alarms, you can't hear them in the bedrooms. So it's very important that you pay particular attention to making sure that the decibels levels are high enough at the pillow so it does wake you up and alert you to this condition.
Can I just come back to the piece you talked about, the legal requirements, for myself and the viewers, clarify what you mean about ionized or something, and I wasn't quite sure. Something sounds like we don't want to buy it, the other ones we do.
Correct. 5-6 years ago, with the help from the Vermont lawmakers and the entire Vermont Fire Service community, we passed new laws that require photoelectric technology, and photoelectric alarms have a tendency to respond quicker to smoldering fires, which we're seeing in our residential occupancies. A cigarette in a sofa, maybe a heating fire, or something caused from a wood stove fire. Larger carbon particles are sensed much quicker with the photoelectric type. Okay. Secondly, you don't get the nuisance alarms as much from the photoelectric as you do with the ionization alarm, so people are reluctant to disconnect their alarms if they're not going off as a nuisance. So,
okay. George, what about replacement? I've lived in my house for 20 years. Honestly, I haven't replaced anything. Should I?
Absolutely.
Ouch.
The smoke alarm. A smoke alarm needs to be replaced every 10 years. A carbon monoxide alarm needs to be replaced every 5 years. This is a combination alarm, so theoretically, yeah, this needs to be replaced every 5 years. And they're actually coming out with new alarms that have a 10-year lifespan on the lithium battery. Okay. And when it stops, it's time for a new one.
Okay. Does it matter whether we buy the combo units or the separate units? Is one recommended over the other?
No, I think that's a matter of personal choice, but I think a lot of us are looking at the combination units. That way everything is covered in one spot.
Could I ask one of you to address what goes in, and I brought it up earlier saying my kids brought home the idea of, do we have an exit plan? What goes into an escape plan or a fire escape strategy from our homes?
Well, it's a fire escape plan just like our kids use at school.
Yep.
You know, they have fire drills, and there's a set place for people is supposed to designate us. This is where we're all going to meet when we get outside. We can take a head count. We make sure everybody's here. And once you're out, you never go back in. But we need to practice these plans. The kids are good at this. They know all about fire drills at school. When's the last time we had a fire drill at home? For most of us, never.
Best be prepared. Now, despite some of these prevention efforts that we're talking about, again, George, these things do occur. They're accidents. I foreshadowed this a little bit talking about cold weather months. What are the biggest dangers in Vermont?
I think our heating systems in our homes are the #1 cause that typically create a fire. And as we're heading into the colder season, we need to definitely make sure that our furnaces, our stoves, our chimneys are clean and ready for the cold weather, the heating season. We're going to push these to the limit when we get into January. And we need to make sure now that everything is clean. If you're not familiar with it, are not trained, have someone come, a professional chimney sweep, do the job, do it right. The last thing we want is someone falling off the roof either.
Yeah, and again, I just want to underscore the biggest danger in Vermont is the heating season, and I'm drawing on my own experience with the price of oil and using, frankly, more and more wood every year. It's a great source of heat. I wouldn't change it for anything, but we have to be careful.
Yes, and make sure you're using dry, seasoned wood. That's going to create less creosote, which causes some of the problem
If you haven't
for
had
chimney
the
fires.
chimney cleaned, get up there, get a professional, get it done, clean the stoves, yeah.
Right. Yeah, on a regular basis, I have a mirror that I open the clean-out door at the bottom of the chimney, and I look up that chimney. And you want to see a nice, smooth, round or square surface. If it's irregular, craggy, it's dirty. It needs to be cleaned.
Well, we're going to take a moment to touch on some other important safety devices and topics around the home and farm. And one of the most important devices is a fire extinguisher.
Hi, I'm John Marcus, the Fire Marshal at the University of Vermont. I'm a certified fire protection specialist, and I was a full-time firefighter for 21 years. Today I'm going to demonstrate the proper use of a portable fire extinguisher. Before I actually demonstrate the extinguisher, there are a few things that I need to tell you. Whenever there's a fire, you need to call for help first. Even if you think you can extinguish the fire, call for help, notify occupants in the area, pull the building fire alarm, call your emergency number to make sure that the fire department is on the way. Then you can attempt to fight the fire. A portable fire extinguisher is only for small fires. It will not put out a room full of fire. It's for fires in the incipient stage, a cardboard box, a recycling bin, a trash can, something small that is not spread to other objects in the room. You also need to be sure to leave yourself a safe way out before you use the extinguisher. Make sure that you have a clear exit available just in case things don't go as planned. There are different types of fire extinguishers. Be familiar with the fire extinguishers in your area. There are several classes of fire. A Class A fire is ordinary combustibles such as wood, paper, textiles, cardboard. Class B fires are flammable liquids or solvents such as fuels, gasoline, oils. Class C fires involved energized electrical equipment, basically anything that is plugged into a power source. And Class D fires are flammable metals or combustible metals. These are fairly rare, but they are found in manufacturing and in chemical laboratories. Class K fires are kitchen fires, which involve deep frying of grease. And now we're ready to talk about how to use the fire extinguisher. There are 4 steps involved in using the fire extinguisher, and we use 4 letters to remember them. We use the letters PASS, P-A-S-S. The P is for pull. You need to pull this safety pin out before the fire extinguisher will operate. The A is for aim. You remove the nozzle and aim at the base of the flames. You must aim at the base of the fire. If you aim at the flames, the extinguishing agent will pass through the flames and land harmlessly on the other side. The first S is for squeeze. You squeeze the handles together to discharge the agent. And the last S is for sweep. You sweep from side to side until the fire is completely out. P-A-S-S. In this demonstration, we will be using water to extinguish the fire. Typically, multi-purpose fire extinguishers have a dry chemical agent, which comes out in a fine powder much like water. And now we're ready to do the demonstration. And that's how to safely and effectively use a fire extinguisher.
And our thanks to the UVM Fire Marshal. We have about a minute left. We talked about the combo detector. Michael, tell us about the significance of the CO detector.
Carbon monoxide is referred to as the silent killer. It is colorless and odorless, and the only way that you can detect carbon monoxide in your home is with an alarm.
Get an alarm.
Get an alarm.
For both of you, briefly, more resources, the Division of Fire Safety?
You can visit our webpage at www.vtfiresafety.org.
And George?
For farm things, especially farmsafevermont.wordpress.com. And as I said, with barns and farms, we definitely need to have detectors up there, and they should be the hardwired connected so that you're going to hear it in the house, and also perhaps have an outside alarm.
I can't thank you enough, both of you, for joining, and hopefully we're saving a life today. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.